If you're facing challenges in the criminal justice system, start thinking today about the best possible outcome. My name is Michael Sanchez, and I was incarcerated for 26 years. So I built a whole career around my journey about all the lessons that I learned. And I would love to say that I came up with those lessons on my own, but that's not accurate. I learned from leaders who taught me how to think differently and who taught me how to figure out strategies to prosper and build something meaningful, even while I'm living inside of a solitary cell. In fact, that's where I started to get these lessons. And it's what I try to share through our various programs, including, and I'll share my screen with you, Prison Professors Talent and prisonprofessors.org. So these are two different websites. And I want to spend a little bit of time today on Prison Professors Talent because I got questions. Well, what's the difference between the two? What is prisonprofessors.org and what is Prison Professors? Actually, I'm going to pull something else up here, .com, okay, right there. And how do all of these different websites work together? I think I'll start by talking a little bit about prisonprofessors.com. And if you go there by mistake, make sure that you look at this button right here where it says, visit the nonprofit. You see, I went to prison in 1987 before there was the internet. When I got out of prison or transitioned from a federal prison to a halfway house in 2012, everything was new to me. I had to learn everything, including how to build websites, how to make videos, how to bring books to market on my own. So all of that took a lot of learning because, the internet didn't exist when I went to prison. I'd never sent an email before, never sent a text message, and I had to learn everything, including learn how to earn a living around my journey. And prisonprofessors.com was that first website that helped me build a series of businesses that later led to me creating multiple income streams so that now I can devote myself to doing something of meaning, which is what I do here with prisonprofessors.org. It's a nonprofit. Nobody pays me anything for doing this. In fact, my wife Carol and I contributed a minimum of $100,000 a year, every year, to keep this site growing and to build. All revenues that come from our books or courses that come through prisonprofessors.org, they go back into .org to support the organization, to help it grow, so that people who are in prison that may not have resources, that may be locked in special housing units, that may not have an ability to go to class, we can provide them resources without any charge. But one of the really exciting things that we've developed is Prison Professors Talent. And I'm going to talk with you about Prison Professors Talent right now. But in order to give you the full backstory, I've got to really start by telling you who inspired me to create this site. So I was going into prisons a lot. Every chance I get, I visit federal prisons or state prisons. In fact, I'm filming this in late March 2025, and in about a week and a half, I will be going to the state prison in Folsom, which is a high-security state prison in California, because we have these courses that go into prisons, and I'll go in there, and sometimes the people don't know who I am. And they'll look at me when I come in, and they'll say, that fool was never in prison. The reality is that I tell them that was the plan, that I wanted to get out of prison, be able to put on a suit and tie, go into any environment, and nobody would know I served a day in prison unless I told them. So I go into prisons with hopes of inspiring them and teaching them, but sometimes the people will ask me, what am I going to do after I finish your course? Because we've got a number of courses that we offer, including preparing for success after prison, Triumph, building bridges to success, the Straight A Guide, of course. All of these courses are really sharing the lessons that I learned from leaders, but really putting them into context of today's prison system so that every person can understand, how do you transform your life? But the people ask me, what do I do when I finish the course? Well, in theory, if you've really paid attention in the course, you should know what to do, because these are about being self-directed and building a pathway to success. I left there feeling kind of bad because I understand what it's like to be in prison for multiple years or multiple decades, and you always want to be productive. Well, one of the reasons that my life changed is because I memorialized my journey, starting by building websites and writing books and connecting with society. In fact, I remember being with my wife, Carol, and we got married inside of a federal prison in 2003, and I met her in 2002. And when I asked her, how is it that you think, you came into my life? And her initial response was, well, the truth, which was that there was I'd written a lot, and some student in a university was researching me online, and he found where I went to high school, and Carol was coordinating a 20-year reunion. You can read all about this in Earning Freedom, Conquering a 45-Year Prison Term. But it was this student who wrote to my high school. Carol happened to be there, and she got the letter, and that prompted her to write me a letter in prison, which led to a friendship, and then a correspondence, and then a romance, and we fell in love, and we married. And now we've been married for longer than 22 or 3 years. I think it'll be 23 years in June. She's sitting next to me. Is that right, Carol? 23 years in June. So it'll be 23 years in June. And the crazy thing is I love her more today than I've ever loved her before. But it's because of this long journey. But when she said, well, it's because this guy wrote to me that we started, that's not true. The reality is that long before that, I started laying seeds so that I could reach beyond prison fences, and so that people would see me and know me and believe in me and get inspired by me. And that's what got it started. So if you're going into the prison system, I want you to have that same experience. You already may have found the love of your life, and you might be looking for romance in a prison, but you should still be thinking about, how are you going to build a career? How are you going to overcome the collateral consequences that follow? And that's what Prison Professors Talent is all about. We give you an opportunity to memorialize all the way you transformed your life. And I got inspired by that. I was meant to tell you, by Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb. I remember listening to a podcast, and somebody asked him, what was the hardest thing you had to do when building Airbnb? And he said, the hardest thing I had to do was lay off several thousand people. I think it was 2,800 people during the COVID era. And he said, those were people that really helped us build our company, and I believed in them. But, I, as a CEO, I have an obligation to my shareholders, and to sustain the company, I had to cut the workforce. And that was 2,800 people. So what he did is he built Airbnb.com/talent to profile all the contributions these people made and why they were a great resource, and anybody who needed an engineer or whatever it was the person did should hire them. And I thought, that's a great idea. That's something I can do. So I could build Prison Professors Talent to work to influence the culture of confinement, hopefully helping staff members understand the role they have in building pathways to success. Planning, I wanted to show people that you've got to be the CEO of your life and build a pathway to success. I wanted to profile employers to help them understand why they might want to hire people. But most importantly, I wanted to profile people that are in prison, like Halim Flowers or Adam Clausen or Tommy Walker, people who were once serving multiple life sentences but are now home. And the reason that they are home is because they've worked so hard to transform their life. And I profile those people on the website, but I allow them to show the ways that they're using time in prison to build a pathway to success. I'll just use my own profile up here to show you what you can do. So on the website itself, what we want you to do is to build a profile. So you can put your picture up there. You can talk about where you are, your registration number. You can start earning points by how hard you're working to build a tribe. What we want you to do is build a biography that is showing who you are, so that you're not only judged by what the prosecutors have said about you, but really the message you want to tell about yourself. So we would encourage everybody to build a biography. We would encourage you to journal every day. You could see I journal every day. These are the blogs that go up on prisonprofessors.org, but we publish them here to try and show people how do you start sowing seeds for success. We encourage you every time you read a book to write a book report so that people will see how hard you're working on a self-directed path. We want you to build a release plan, and we want you to build this body of testimonials of people who are transforming your life, right? And you can see these are people that are working with us and leaving testimonials. I guess I mean anybody could leave a testimonial, but it was the way that I built progress. It was the way that Carol found me and many others. Really I can attribute all the work that I did in prison and the way I memorialized that journey to opening opportunities for me to earn millions of dollars coming home and now working to build an impact on society. It's what I want for everybody going through this system. So Prison Professors Talent is completely sponsored by our nonprofit. Nobody has to pay to put up a profile. And it's because I get the benefit of telling your story as you publish them to show other people, stakeholders and lobbyists and any chance I get why we need to reform America's prison system so that people can have an opportunity to work toward earning freedom. So visit prisonprofessorstalent.com if you want to build your own profile. It's super simple to do. Just go to the home page and click on this section right there, and you'll see a video where I kind of describe the entire process. And you could just click the button there to start building your profile. Or if you want to add to your profile, go right there. You could then simultaneously prepare yourself. So once you're in prison, learn how to send your progress to our team so that we can continue to update your profile. Or if you want to help, send it to your family and have your family send it to our team. But this is all part of a machine to help you become the CEO of your life. It is what led to me building businesses. It is what led to me finding the love of my life and getting married in prison. It is one way that I have worked to reconcile and atone and build a pathway to success and hopefully work toward making a positive impact on changing America's prison system so that more people will pursue excellence and work toward earning freedom, as I wrote about in this book right here, Earning Freedom. I hope that you found some value in this book and that it will give you some hope that regardless of what challenges you're facing today, you could build something more meaningful in the future. I am Michael Santos. I'm the founder of Prison Professors, and I just want you to know I believe in you.